Good morning. How you guys doing? It's Mike back again with the thought of the day on December 12th, 2024. First, I want to give honor and praise to the Elohim of Israel for giving me the strength and the wisdom to bring you this message. And then I like to open with the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. May your will, not mine, be done. Today, I want to talk about there's a solution. There's a solution. When it comes to alcoholism, I've did several videos the last couple of days talking about the depths and the effects of alcoholism have on people and have on those around them. But there's a solution to this problem. And the solution is God. See, it took these guys a while earlier on to figure it out. But once they figured it out, Bill and his crew went out to spread the message. After Bill had his spiritual awakening and it changed his life, they came up with the conclusion that a person needs to have a spiritual awakening, psychic change for them to change their life and become the person that God intended them to be. That's why it's called recovery. You're recovering to the person God intended you to be. So in the big book, there's a chapter called The Solution where they talk about when they came up with this concept, because before that, they would just try to treat you with psychologists and things of that nature, and then they'd just leave you in a sanitarium because they figure every time they let you out that you would that you would just continue drinking. So they would just commit you and leave you there. So we're going to read through The Solution, a couple of paragraphs, and then chop it up and see what they're talking about. It says, there's a solution. Almost none of us like the self-searching, the leveling of our pride, the confession of shortcomings, which the process requires for its successful consummation. But we saw that it really worked in others, and we had come to believe in the hopelessness and futility of life as we had been living it. When, therefore, we were approached by those in whom the problem had been solved, there was nothing left for us but to pick up the simple kit of spiritual tools laid at our feet. We had found much of heaven, and we have been rocking into a fourth dimension of existence, of which we had not even dreamed. The great fact is just this, and nothing less, that we had had a deep and effective spiritual experience, which had revolutionized our whole attitude towards life, towards our fellows, and towards God's universe. The central fact of our lives today is the absolute certainty that our Creator has entered into our hearts and lives in a way which is indeed miraculous. He has commenced to accomplish those things for us which we could never do for ourselves. If you are a serious alcoholic, as we were, we believe there is no middle of the ground solution. We are in a position where life was becoming impossible. We were in a position where life was becoming impossible. And if we had passed into the region from which there is no return through human aid, we had but two alternatives. One was to go on to the bitter end, blotting out the consciousness of our intolerable situation as best we could, and the other to accept spiritual help. Wow. They talked about a lot in here. In the beginning, they talked about almost none of us like the self-searching, the leveling our pride, and the confession of shortcomings. That was the steps. The self-searching was the steps 4 and 5, and step 4, confessing our pride. You know what I'm saying? And leveling our pride and confessing our shortcomings. Those were those steps that they did. Once they saw Bill and his peoples did the steps, and they came through and they let people know that we got to do this to get it done. Then he said, we have had a deep and effective spiritual experience. That spiritual awakening, I had mine after step 5, and that's when that Holy Spirit entered my spirit, man. When that Holy Spirit entered me after doing that step 5, I'm telling you, it's like a whole change in your mind and mentality hits you. You know what I'm saying? Because I did what they were talking about. I did the self-searching. I leveled out my pride and confessed my shortcomings. You know what I'm saying? And then it goes into saying Our whole attitude towards life and our fellows had changed. We were selfish and self-centered, but after doing this, we changed to different people. Then they went on to say, we believe if you are a serious alcoholic as we are, we believe there is no middle of the road solution. You can't get this no other way. Half measures avail does nothing. So it ain't no, you're not going to be able to go around it if you're a real alcoholic and you didn't came past that line. Or if you're an addict and you didn't came past that line, there's no middle of the ground. You got to go to God. Said we had two choices. Once we got to this point, we faced at the turning point. Blotting out conscious of an intolerable situation as best we could, going on to the bitter end, or accept the spiritual help. The Most High allowed you to get backed into a corner where you only had two choices. You're going to go down this road and just keep going and going until you crash and burn, or you're broken enough to accept the spiritual help. That's the choices we have when you at this point, man. You're either going to go down that road and accept the spiritual help. Go down that road and crash and burn, or you're going to accept the spiritual help. And I'm telling you, and the great part about it is when he says the Creator has entered into our hearts and lives in a way is indeed miraculous. He has commenced to accomplish those things for us which we could never do by ourselves. I couldn't have changed into this person that I am to be able to go out and do the things that I'm doing without him. Thank Yeshua for leaving the Holy Spirit for us to be able to go out and do the work that he wants us to do. But there's a solution to alcoholism. This is Mike. Enjoy the rest of your day. Shalom.